So hey guys, it's me Aizo-Agi here, and Blue Lock Chapter 305 has just dropped, and trust me, this chapter is very entertaining, as there's lots of things going on in this chapter, and interesting just as well, as it will also tell us about how the Blue Lock players will evolve in the upcoming chapters. What will happen next? How will they become even better than they are now? What is Ego planning for the future of Blue Lock players, and how will he make them win the Under-20 World Cup? And what training they will go through, and everything we'll see in this Chapter 305. So without any further ado, and telling you everything, let's start the Chapter 305 name, X23. So the chapter starts with Henri, as she's holding a plate of special yakisoba for Ego Jinpachi, which, not gonna lie, looks good, especially since it's made by Henri herself. So moving forward, we see Ego Jinpachi frantically typing on his laptop, saying Henri to just put the plate there, also while looking at his laptop. And then Henri says to Ego that he has been working all nights lately, and that he should take care of his body and not to overwork himself. And talks about how his dark circles are getting worse too, which obviously is noticeable if you look at it closely. And then Ego replies to Henri that he has been working for all the 23 player on there, personalized training programs as such, and is not able to do his own works lately, and them piling up. Proceeding to the next page, as it starts with Henri asking to Ego on this 14 days of break, what is he going to make those 23 boys do? Hearing this, Ego asks Henri that when she cooks food, what type of process she follows, to which Henri replies that she first thinks of what she wants to eat, then go to shopping to get the necessary ingredients to make it, and then Ego says precisely, and proceeds to say that he is thinking up a recipe for a U20 World Cup victory. On to the next page, as Ego further states that these players have 14 days to find their missing ingredients, and in this same frame, we see a letter send it to Barreau Shui. The letter say, if you want to be a king again. Then we see Barreau holding that letter, saying what that Four Eyes plotting, while standing somewhere which looks like a university of some kind. Then, an unknown voice says, you are Barreau from Blue Lock, we have been waiting for you. In the next page, we see some Hulk standing, and the text says that welcome to American football, to which Barreau is confused and furiously says, huh? Which, to be honest, confuses me too. What can Barreau learn while playing American football? What do you guys think? Do tell me in the comments. And also, what American football is called in your place? In my place, it's called rugby. The next page also starts with a letter, this time to Bachira, and it says, learn by teaching, understands what it's like to be a kid. Then, we see Bachira standing in front of a elementary school. But firstly, what is Ego trying to do, sending them to schools and universities beyond me? Okay, on to the story again. As Bachira was standing in front of the grade school, and then a kid peeks from some kind of door and says, he's here. It's Bachira. And to this, Bachira reaction was kind of funny, as he said, who are you? With a defensive stance. And then on the next page, we see all the kids rushing towards Bachira, while screaming, please, teach us about soccer, to which Bachira, being him, obviously accepts and says, guess, I'm the teacher, today. Proceeding to the next chapter, as we see someone swimming, and the text of the page says, Hyoma Chigiri-sama throw, away your legs, and become a fish. And even the letter is the same, so no need to read it. Then we see Chigiri comes out of the pool, and the text in here says, acquire a heart and lungs that can endure your speed. And that is all for Chigiri. So on to the next page, which again, we starts with a letter, but to Kunigami this time, which says, the answers lies in battle. Then we see him fighting with some sort of robot, I guess, and it also looks like he's still in Blue Lock facility. And that is all for him too. So again, on to the next page, which is very funny to say the least. Okay, so in this page, we see Kunigami's best friend, who helped him become the best version of himself, and is the reason why Kunigami has gotten so strong. And it's none other than Shido Ryusei. And the page starts by showing a literary plane. What is he doing? So up in the sky? Is he trying to practice to bicycle kick from the sky? But no, he's just there to enjoy. Like as he's jumping off of the plane, he says, Mamma Mia. And the text in this page say, Do everything in your bucket list. Blue Lock will cover the expenses. On to the next page, and to be honest, I'm kinda tired of saying the same thing over and over again, but oh, man, so the page starts by showing a shrine, and in there, we see Rin meditating there, most probably sent by Ego, there to work on his anger issues. So the text in this page says, Rinatoshi-sama, reflect on your ego once more. That was it for this page, and to the next page, and we'll start with the text this time, and the text says, your desire should not rely on pure destruction, and which is something he needs to actually work on. Well done, Ego. Finally, a training which is actually a player needed. Then to just send them to schools and letting them jump off of the plane. So now onto the story, as we can see him thinking about Isagi and Sei in his mind while he's meditating, for which he was hit by a stick from the observing monk there. And now I want you to guess what would have happened. Option 1, he would have continued his meditation, or opinion 2, gets furies. If you are the option 2, then you are right. Rin gets furies on monk for that, and even tried to attack him, but couldn't, as Oer monk stopped him. And Rin also said that this was the 50th time the monk has hit him, so it's kinda justified why he got so furies on monk. Now the next page starts by showing a very huge building. Further going, we see Ryo running on his treadmill in Mikage Corporation's special training gym. While running, we see him thinking about Nagi, as what he said to Ryo when he was announced that he is eliminated. The text says, Hey Ryo, if I hadn't relied on you, Ryo, I wonder if I would have had a different future. As we can see, he's now laying on the mat with a sore face. On the next frame, we see him saying, I keep thinking about him. And the flashback didn't end there, it still continue. As Ryo's thinking in his mind, somewhere in my mind, I thought we'd always be together. So I still haven't adjusted to live without Nagi. God, what a pain. So is there no letter or special training programs for him, or what? Don't know, so let's continue. As we see Ryo's maid, and her name is definitely not Albert or something, so she entered the room with a letter. Oh boy, I shouldn't have said that, I guess. So now she says, you have received a letter from Blue Lock. Ryo obviously getting confused on why Blue Lock sent a letter to him or anything. But this is actually the first letter which is shown completely. That means, or at least hints, that in the future, Ryo will have a great importance in the U20 arc, for which I'll genuinely be happy if that actually happens though. So on to the letter, as the letter says, Ryo Mikage-sama, you are Blue Lock's special soldier. Become the master copy of all the remaining players. Ryo's maid further goes to say that there is also an SD card included with the letter, and that SD card contains recordings of specific players from the other 22 players. To this, Ryo, not knowing anything what it's all about, talks to himself. Why did Ego give me this assignment? And seeing all this, Ryo's maid says to Ryo that even with his physical abilities, it's an impossible task, even for him to do in just mere 14 days of break. Hearing this, Ryo's ego awakens, and he says, no, I'll do it. I don't need to use my brain now, just my body. And he is also thinking why Ego does this, or why did he give him such big tasks to do in this 14 days. As he thinking internally, Ego words always holds a meaning beyond what I can imagine. As after seeing all this, and all the while thinking about why Ego gave him such an important role, as says, I'll ace this homework and then I'll become the #1 protagonist of the U20 World Cup. Sorry for swifting through the last 2 pages, as I wanted to complete Ryo's dialogue first. But now if we look at the previous panel, we can see bunch of remaining players who were not shown in this chapter, such as Corona running with a dog, I guess, Raichi doing some kind of training, there's Karasu Ryu and Otoya, who I don't know what is he learning or where is he actually. Looks like a gravitational room to me. And then there's Sendo, who is in a military uniform. Is it actually that or not? I don't know, and even if it is, then whose military uniform is this? If you know, do tell me in the comments. So other players are Hiyori playing video games, Aiku reading something or learning. I don't know, there's Nico doing workout, Zantetsu doing running practices to increase his speed. And last but not the least, Goat Maru playing baseball. And the last page of this chapter comes back to Henri, as she is sleeping in her work table. And there's a letter for Henri by Ego. It says, the yakisoba was delicious. Go get some proper sleep in your room. Good work. F off. Like seriously, Ego first two line were genuinely convincing. I thought our guy emotionless Ego has evolved himself too, and have gotten his heart awakens. But last two words, man, completely took a different lane. But anyways, last few things remaining to wrap up everything in this chapter. As the last few lines goes like, at the end, they are all strikers. When they will meet with that instinct intact, the chemical reaction between number 1 times 23 will create a blue lock fusion. So I guess this is it for the Blue Lock Chapter 305. So if any of you guys have made this long in the video, what do you think of this chapter? And what's your take in this? Why do you think Isagi Yoichi wasn't shown? Or why Reo was given so much spotlight in this chapter? If the author trying to convey something? Nonetheless, we'll see when the time will come. But before you go, please, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to channel, and comment what was your favorite part in this video. And also do tell me if I need to improve in something. And do share it too, as it will help my video reach. So see you in the next video. Bye!